What's up guys, it's Tree Crab Will and my updated truck medical bag video. I'm really excited about this. I've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes to add things, listen to comments, as well as accumulate some things that I said in the last video that I was really excited for. So before we get into that though, none of this that I'm saying represents what my company that I work for thinks. It is not anyway a reflection of the way they run their operation. All opinions are mine. Everything I say shall not be considered as medical advice. I'm just a stupid guy on the internet showing you something I think is cool. Go follow all local protocols, rules, regulations, and follow your companies. With that being said, what makes me qualified? I'm a nationally registered EMT. I've been an EMT since November, so about 6 months. I work on a truck right now. I work with paramedics and EMTs. I've seen quite a few things. I've also spent some time in my city's trauma center. Got to do some cool things there and see some cool things, but in no way am I an expert in any of this. I'm proficient in it, as why I have my card, but I'm still learning something new every single day. So I'm excited that you're along here with me in my journey in medicine. So this is my rendition of a first in bag. This is if I see a bad accident on the road or wherever I seem to be going. This also includes a little bit of a boo-boo kit, but if you want to see the full breakdown of this bag, go check out the last video. I'll link it there or there. I don't ever know where those are or where that little tag thing is. But getting straight into it, I specifically last video about this, said about this company, please hit me up because I would love to do something with it. I'd love to have their product. And you know, EMT school, they teach you X ABCs, massive trauma or hemorrhage, X, A, airway, B, breathing, C, circulation. Now, I had everything besides B. I was really lacking in the breathing section. Well, Micro BVM reached out and they sent me one of their pocket BVMs. I'm super excited about this. I love how small it is, you know, compared to the BVMs I work with and was trained on. These are way smaller. You can see in these side-by-side pictures how awesome and just small this thing is compared to your more traditional BVMs. So the RT, the respiratory therapist in me, I'm going to school for that, is really excited about this piece of kit. This adds a lot more capability to my personal kit, and yeah, I'm super excited. It has the little oxygen port, it has the little bag, it folds up really nicely, and you can deliver rescue breaths if needed, which is super cool. And it folds down to this super compact size, which is super nice. It's perfectly to the kit. You know, this is a low profile bag, so it fits in there perfectly. And yeah, I'm just super excited about that. Something else that I had originally on this bag was a knockoff pair of Leatherman Raptors. Where I store it in my vehicle, these fall off really easily. I'm also thinking about a different thing for the Sharpie, but for now that stays there. So instead I have a pair of X shears. It's good to be able to cut stuff off and whatnot. Something else, trauma. You want to wrap your patients in a trauma taco. You lose the ability to clot, I think, when you buy dips below 98, 96 degrees. So Fahrenheit, of course. So you want to wrap your patient up in this. It doesn't per se help them get warmer. It just helps them retain the thermal energy they are getting off. So having that was super important. I know I didn't have that last time. So just being able to, you know, insulate my patients properly was super important. Piece of vitals equipment I added was a glucometer. Whenever you have altered mental status, you want to be able to check someone's blood glucose, or if someone's passed out, you don't just instantly douse them in Narcan like our good friends in law enforcement tend to do. No shame, no shade thrown at them. They do a great job and are quite brave for what they do, but yeah, that's super important. I mean, they're pretty cheap. I think that was about $20, but it's super handy. I also added a water bottle with some electrolyte powder in case someone passes out and it's just a good thing to have. Whenever I'm on the truck, you know, in the ambulance, I swear, the biggest thing I'm asked for, it's not oxygen, it's not pain meds, it's water. And well, I'm not giving this to patients who are when I'm working, this is when I'm off duty, but it's good to be able to give people water. You know, it gets hot in the summer, that's what it is right now. You know, someone passes out, they need to get rehydrated, super important. Something else, I'm not sure if I had this in there, but just like a headlamp, but you can't, you know, treat what you can't see. So that was super important to have too. But a lot of the times when I'm talking about this, whether I'm just kind of nerding out, talking to family or friends, well, I'm saying, why, Tree Crab Will, do you have this? You know, you're an EMT, shouldn't you just be able to treat them with your hands? And a lot of times, yeah, it's that simple. You can just, you know, stop bleeding with a shirt. But there's other things in other instances where you can't. I was driving home from a long night shift a week or so ago, and I witnessed this car wreck, and I just stopped and helped them, you know, splinted them, and was able to give a decent, you know, pretty good transfer of care and you know, give a report to the responding department. But just having the ability to do these more advanced things can save a life, and I want to do that. I don't care about the glory. I don't care about, you know, whatever accolades of the world. I just want to help people. That's why I do what I do. You know, I might take grueling shifts, but you know, at the end of the day, I just want to make sure people are okay. And I know it's stereotypical, but I don't care. That's just the honest truth. Some things I want to add. I had to, when I was responding to that patient, when I was off duty, I had the busted car door open, got to role play as a firefighter, which is pretty cool. You know, firefighters do a good job, they're great. But I wish I had, and I have them in my truck, it's just, I grabbed this instinctually and just ran out and helped them. But a pair of nice leather gloves, there luckily wasn't any glass, but potentially I could become a casualty in that and cutting my hand on sheet metal or something. So just having that to protect myself. And along with that, having to bust open, you know, that car's door, made me start to think maybe I should include some way, some breaching tool, some way to pry open that door. I had, I believe last video, a rescue knife, and I currently have that on my life jacket. It's for paddling primarily, but something like that would be nice, just a little bigger so I could add some leverage. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, I was excited to be able to use it. Again, I hope never having to use this, but in the event I did, I was very happily prepared and had enough to get the job done. It's obviously a worst case scenario. I have a lot of massive bleeding stuff, but you know, I'd rather have stuff that I don't need instead of need something that I don't have. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Again, a huge shout out to Pocket BVM. Go check them out. I would recommend you carry a BVM if you are a provider in a truck bag or even EDC. If you're living somewhere that's people are prone to overdosing, instead of, I mean, you can carry Narcan, that's fine, that'll wake them up. But sometimes, and of course this isn't medical advice, you can just breathe for them and that'll kind of help. You're not getting punched in the face when they wake up and get upset for you ruining their high. I heard that from a couple medics, so that's not my personal experience. I've never luckily had to use Narcan. Hope to never have to do that because that's kind of rough. But you know, that's just one use case for this. Or someone, you know, goes into cardiac arrest and you're doing CPR. I don't want to have to make out with grandpa who just passed out. I'd love to just breathe for him. That's great. But yeah, overall, this is the updated bag. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. I'd love to hear them. Huge shout out to Micro BVM. Also check out Die Tired. I don't think I have the coupon code anymore, but they're still pretty awesome. It's a wildland firefighter. You know, they're doing some pretty cool stuff. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Comment, like, and if you care to subscribe, thanks.